everybody. Hey everybody, my name is not Princess Jasmine, and today we're going to be doing something a little differently than what we usually would be doing. This is actually a live stream. I am streaming on TikTok right now and doing my makeup at the same time. Obviously, I am partially done with my makeup right now, but we are going to be talking books while I finish doing my makeup. So come along with me on this magical journey. So today I am using the You Can Be Color Club number 7 palette, as long as the You Can Be Spotlight palette, and also the You Can Be Supreme Seductress palette. You can see that I really like the You Can Be brand. I'm gonna put my hat back on just to get my hair out of my face while I work on this wing. I got this one and I'm trying to get the other side done. That's where I left off, and I'm going right back into it. So, have you ever been listening to an audiobook or read a book and you're like, I just want a break from this, and just automatically go back to a comfort book for you? Well, for me, I don't do that. There hasn't really been any books that I've felt the need to go back to once I read. Once I finish reading a book, that's it. Like, I've read it, I don't need to read it again. Unless it's a book or book series that I really enjoyed, and then maybe I will read it again years down the road, right? So books that I have in my collection are strictly that, books that I have in my collection. I'm not actively planning on reading any of these books again. And in fact, the answer is I probably won't read these books again. However, I want to own them because I really enjoyed the book. So with that being said, I have a little bit of an ADHD brain, and I typically read multiple books at once. And what I mean by that is I will listen to one or more audiobooks. I'll have a couple of those going at once, and if I'm not listening to audiobooks, then I am reading a physical book. I usually have 1 or 2 physical books going at home. I'll have one for work and then one for home. So at least 2 physical books at any given moment. And that isn't including digital books. So I will have a book going on my tablet. Right now, I actually have a book going on my tablet. And then I don't like bringing my tablet into bed with me at night, so I actually started reading a different book on my phone. So right now I currently have like 5 or 6 books going at once, and I know it sounds a bit ridiculous, but I know what's going on in every single one of them, and I can give you a rundown of all of the books that I'm reading. Like, I may have ADHD brain, but it doesn't distract me from actually knowing what's going on in my books that I'm reading. So I am currently reading Apocalypse Cow by Michael Logan. It is a kind of funny horror book, and think like zombie apocalypse, but instead of people turning into zombies, it's the animals that are turning into zombies, and they're out for your blood, also your flesh. So yeah, it's a really good book. Basically, the heroes of the story are people who don't know each other, and the story follows them, their separate paths, and then they end up crossing paths to save the world. I'm almost done with the book, and there has been no world saving. So I really don't know how it's going to end. I don't really think it's going to get a happy ending, but I digress. It's a really good story, and if you have not read that one, I highly recommend checking out Apocalypse Cow by Michael Logan. That is one of my in-person books, like a physical copy book that I am reading. And then I am also reading, I bought from the TikTok shop, and before you get on my case, yes, I actually bought this from the TikTok shop, and don't even get me started. Like, no, I wouldn't usually buy things off of TikTok, but this book was so beautiful, I could not pass up the opportunity to have this in my collection. I got a Midnight Black edition, so the cover is black, the edges are black, and the pages are black, of the Fae of Wayworth series. So it is like a omnibus book. It has 5 books in one, and I'm currently reading that one. Honestly, I think it's kind of boring. It's young adult, so there's no like, there's a little bit of romance in there, but there's zero spice, and the storyline isn't it for me. Like, it bored me. I was really hopeful for it. Once I read like the first 2 stories, like the first 2 books in there, I was like, oh, this is actually like kind of garbage. So I don't want to finish reading them. I will eventually, but right now they're just kind of like sitting at my desk at work because I'm not enjoying it. So if I'm not enjoying a book, I have absolutely zero problem putting it down and coming back later if I feel that it is good enough to come back later. And honestly, I don't know if I want to come back to it or not. So I basically picked up the Cow book and said, oh, well, it's October, so I have a right to read this book because it's Halloween coded. In reality, I thought the other book was boring and I wanted justification to stop reading it, honestly. So there was that. And then, so those are the 2 books that I'm reading in person currently. I have one on my phone and one on my tablet that I'm currently reading. And the one on my tablet, I'll be honest, I lost it. Like, I'm not really interested in reading it. It was just a novella too, so I think it's because I'm trying to read it at night in bed, and it's just like, it's not heavy or anything. It's Hours for Halloween. It is about 3 monster guys who disguise themselves as humans on Halloween night and take advantage of a girl who's going to a party. So obviously it's monster smut, and if you know me, you know I love monster smut. It's like one of my favorite things to read. If it's got monsters in it, sign me up. I'll read it, don't care how weird it is, but okay, that's a lie. If it's tentacles, then I'm not about it. Like, no tentacles. But if it's like regular monsters, then I can get behind that, okay? Like, that's fine. But I can't get past like the first couple of chapters in it, even though it's really only a couple chapters long. I'm just like waiting for something to happen, and since nothing is happening, I'm like, maybe we don't read this book. So that book is put on hold. So I currently have 2 books that are on hold, and then multiple other ones that I got going on. I have another one that I am currently reading. Hey, how's it going? I have a picture of the one that I'm currently reading. It is called Held by Isabella Taylor. It is, again, another monster book. Of course I'm reading a monster book. Hello! It's October. It's a good time to read a monster book. This one is about a girl who is cursed, and the curse is that she has to sleep with a guy every single day. It doesn't matter if it's the same one, it could be the same or it could be different, but she has to have relations with a guy every single day or she dies. So before midnight, she has to sleep with somebody, and if she doesn't, then she'll die. So as it gets closer to midnight, she feels the magic restricting inside of her body, getting ready to, take her into her clutches. So she used to do bad things, and bounty hunters are always after her. And this one person that she used to know, she used to run with, tried to capture her with a group of bounty hunters. So she ran into this cave, and in this cave, that guy lived, and he is I think it's a skull, I don't think it's a skull crusher, it's skull something. I will take a look here to see what they're called. Give me just 1 second. Skull Stalker. So clearly he is not human at all. He has wings and he has horns on his head. He wears like this partial skull mask. I don't know if he looks like human underneath the skull mask. I don't think it really says, but he doesn't wear any clothes. He wears a loincloth, and apparently what's under the loincloth is a sight to behold, if you will. And basically she wears a magical amulet around her neck that stops bad things from happening to her, which just so happens that the magic in her amulet actually stopped the Skull Stalker from getting bloodlust and attacking her. So he saw these group of people like rushing into the cave after her, and he actually saved her. So they have a conversation, and the conversation's like, so why didn't you kill me? And he's like, oh, I think it's because you're amulet. And she's like, okay, bet, cool. And then she's like, so I got this problem, so I have to see myself out. And he's like, what's your problem? So she just flat out tells him like, oh, I need to sleep with somebody to stay alive. So I need to go do that. And he's like, oh, I can help you with this. And she's like, bro, what are you talking about? You can help me with this. So she's against it at first, and then she's like looking at him and she's like, I can get down with a monster baddie. Why wouldn't I want to do this? Which I thought was hilarious. So she's like, okay, I guess if you have human parts, why not? It'll help me out. So he informs her that he has never done anything like this before. In his monster culture, it's not something that they usually do. He doesn't live in the realm where his family, people of his kind live. He lives in the human world in a cave because that's where he chooses. He lives alone. He had seen couples engage in such activity before, and he was about it. He wanted to try it, but obviously it takes two to tango, and this one's way higher than this one. I have to fix it. And if he doesn't have a willing partner, he doesn't have a willing partner. So he just put that to the back of his mind until the opportunity arose, and it did with this girl. So they're like, okay, whatever, like, we can get down with this. So both of them are about it, which is great. I'm happy for her. So she's like, okay, big boy. She literally calls him big boy because he's huge. I literally showed you, like, what he looks like. He's huge, right? She's like, all right, take off your loincloth. You won't be needing that. And let me tell you, when he takes off this loincloth, she literally gasps out loud. It was like, what am I supposed to do with that? And it's because school stalkers are incredibly large in that department. And I'm not talking like, oh, like a little bit. I'm talking like super duper, like, what am I supposed to do with this? Why is it so freaking big? Also, think like ridges too, like multiple stacked on top of each other. And she's just like, yeah, so you can't just like shove that in. You're gonna have to do something first because that's not gonna fit anywheres on me. You need to warm up first. And he's like, oh, are you cold? Because again, he lives in a cave by himself. He's not used to conversating with people. So he thought that she was saying that she's chilly, which is wholesome AF. I love that. And she's like, no, I think that you should like touch me in this very specific way. And he's like, okay, well, what do you mean? And she's like, here you go. Shoves his face where she wants it, if you catch my drift. And when she does this, he's like, oh, okay, bet I can get down with this. And apparently everything on him is like freakishly large because he's got like this huge ass fucking serpent monster tongue. And apparently he knows how to use it. Like, she's not mad with his performance at all. In fact, she rather enjoys it. But he's a monster. Like, he eats people. That's part of his diet. He eats people. The only thing that's protecting her is her amulet. And he's like, wow, you taste really good. And at first she's like, oh yeah, he likes the taste. And then she's like, oh, he likes the taste. Are we safe right now? But then she's like, this feels nice, so I'm not even gonna question it, which is crazy. Hey, Sam. So one of them looks off. Okay, we're just gonna ignore the fact that one of them looks off. So after she finishes, right? The whole point of the curse is not for her to finish, but for him to finish. So the curse is that she has to sleep with a guy every night. It could be a different guy or it could be the same guy. But if she does not sleep with somebody, she dies. I love the way that the author decided to make this like part of the plot because I love a good smut book, but I don't like needless smut. And that's a great way to make it be like, oh, well, this is part of the storyline. Like, your storyline is smut. What are you talking about? I'm not mad at it. I like it. But she gets warmed up. They're ready to go. She needs to get him to do the do inside her, which, that sounds pretty easy. That's pretty easy. I don't really think that's like a challenge to get it done, so we're not mad at that. It's very capable. So, him being a monster who lives in a cave, I obviously he's never had a female on top of him. So he doesn't know what to expect in that department, and he rather enjoys it. Like, super a lot. Thinks that it's literally the best thing ever he's ever experienced in his entire monster life, which, I get that. It probably is the best thing that he's experienced in his monster life. Sorry, trying to shape these are so hard to do while talking. Like, look at this one. Look how perfect this one is, and then look at this one. This is not coming out how I wanted it to. So, as you can see, like, it's not his fault that he's a monster and has no experience, but, you know, he makes up for lack of experience in other ways, like literally having a monster dong. But he literally told her that it's small among his kind. Because I think it's a little weird that he knows like what the rest of his kind's junk looks like, but that's besides the point. We don't need to talk about that. Oh my god, this is so annoying. I guess we're just not going to talk about the fact that this one curves and then this one doesn't. That's how it's gonna stay. We're just gonna cover it with my hair. Like, I don't care at this point. I've been trying to fix it for some time now. So yeah. Hello? Hi. Are you done there? Okay. You're there. That will have to be the end of my story time today. So, if you like what you've heard about Isabel Taylor's book, I can't remember, Held, I think it's called, make sure you check it out. I personally really enjoy this book. I haven't read very much of it, so I can't speak for what it's going to turn out, but once I know more, I can definitely provide more information. But for now, I'm signing off.